What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Mass Effect Andromeda, the Legendary Edition, because this has just been revealed recently, and it's already managed to upset gamers quite a bit, because some first details are being revealed that this game is actually going to be censored. They're going to be removing a bit of the details and some of the art and stuff from the original game. Now let's take a look at it. First and foremost, I haven't talked a bunch about this yet because while we've actually heard rumors about this project for months and months and months, to me, it seemed like it was just going to be a straight up HDification. More textures, more arts, more graphics, more of a kind of a glossy reboot. They did announce that this is going to have 4K textures and every bit of DLC ever released for the games. And to me, that was enough. That's kind of all I wanted. But today, we just got this article. Now we're going to be talking about two separate things. I want to talk about the graphics changes that people are upset about, but I also want to look at this because this is very ridiculous. It's strange to me that they would change this, but let's talk about that. Mass Effect I'm still laughing about this title. Mass Effect Legendary Edition will dial down the butt shots. Now, I want to read the specific quote, because basically they were interviewing this guy who's the project director. He's the person who's in charge of this new remake. He's the guy who's trying to make sure that this is as good as possible to sell, obviously. Character and environmental director Kevin actually called out some camera cuts that were just, why was that focusing on Miranda's butt? So in some cases we said, okay, we can make a change there. Walters indicated that there weren't changes to specific character models, but instead updates to where cameras were angled. Now, in case you've never played Mass Effect, the original two games specifically, so there's this character named Miranda, and she is a person who clearly enjoys doing squats. Perhaps she rides a lot of like her space bicycle and stuff, and it was always kind of a meme that she had such a ridiculous bottom. Okay, you know what, that's great, that's fine. And at times, the camera angle just took a goofy freaking direction. Now to me, the idea of removing this is strange to me, simply because I didn't really notice it that much in the first place. Like, this was in the game just in tiny details, and to me, it seemed kind of like a joke. It kind of seemed like the way that sci-fi movies were. I've always believed that Mass Effect was in some way designed to be an extension of like Star Trek or Star Wars. It wanted to be its own sci-fi universe and play upon the tropes that already existed. So having like an overly gorgeous woman who's able to just constantly kick butt and use space magic and has this ridiculous butt, that was kind of a meme. And they're removing it. It's straight up being cut out. Now, the reason this is funny to me is because it seems so bizarre that they're just kind of taking things out and changing things around that aren't really going to improve the experience. Okay, so let's just face facts. The people that are pretty much working on Mass Effect right now are these people. The Andromeda team are probably the predominant people in charge of this project. They're the people that made what is definitely the worst Mass Effect, and now they are in charge of remaking the best Mass Effect. And that's kind of funny. Now, I do want to say, I guess I'm not fully against the idea of this. I'm not fully against the idea of somebody coming along and making a different remake, changing things up. I mean, obviously one of my favorite games of all time last year was the the Final Fantasy VII remake, which did change some details and remix stuff, and I thought that everything they did, like the cross-dressing scene, is a whole chapter of the game practically. That was incredibly cool and very, very different from the original. But this seems strange. The other thing I want to talk about, though, is something I've seen a lot of people complaining about, which is more on the artistic side. And I've actually seen a bunch of game developers talking about this, which is that it seems as if they're altering the art. So there's been a bunch of screenshots, gameplay, trailers, and stuff shown about Mass Effect Andromeda, and one of the key details is the fact that they're trying to modernize the visuals. This is actually how the game looks. These random super HD lens flares all over the place. This is not how the original game looked, and as you can tell, It's a little bit distracting. I mean, it's kind of funny to think about the fact that this was originally a game that was almost minimalistic at times in its graphical direction, and now the art is almost being washed out by such a needless effect. And I've seen a lot of people basically saying this: I'm a bit torn about the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. On the one hand, it's nice to have these games on an updated engine that'll work better across modern systems, as well as their DLCs all bundled in. On the other, they demolished the original art direction. I've seen this specific statement circled around a lot. A lot of people saying that's the weirdest part about the Legendary Edition, and what's making them a bit concerned is that this is a game that was almost perfect. Like this trilogy, it was always so fascinating because the games managed to play a little bit different, they managed to look a little bit different, they managed to tell their own story with all the goods and bads about it. It of course had a flawed ending and stuff, but it definitely existed for what it was trying to do. But now somebody else is coming in and trying to paint over it. They're trying to go in there and actually remaster something that worked so well. And that's the weird part about this. How much is actually being tainted by this update? That's the real controversy. But I just want to talk about this today because it is a little bit funny to me. As you can see, it's actually the #1 trending topic in gaming across the world right now is apparently Miranda's butt. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, though. Are you still excited for Mass Effect? Are you excited for this next Mass Effect 4 that's apparently being developed? And are you still going to buy the Mass Effect Legendary Edition? Full disclosure, I have not pre-ordered the game. I'm not putting money down on that Ultimate Collector's Edition box set, Super Kamehameha Edition they're doing of Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I'm going to play this. I'll definitely review it, but I don't know. Some of these changes, not super optimistic. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. Leave the butts in. Alright, that's just my thing. Leave the butts in. Everybody likes butts. I've never met a butt hater in my life. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.